Chris Weidman reacted to Bruno Silva receiving a suspension for violating the UFC anti-doping policy. Despite the controversy due to multiple eye pokes, Weidman defeated Silva via technical decision back in March. Today on X, Weidman posted this. He wrote, "Very interesting. Second failure in his career. Likely I'm told that could be from microdosing anabolics as well." They got Mike Tyson with the "just give me my money" trend.
Go up a little bit, Uncle Mike. All right, okay,
so
we're gonna do it here.
Me and him are gonna do it first. Come in, get in here.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So we're all gonna cheer, okay?
Okay. Just give me my money.
Yeah! Just give me my money. Yeah! Money.
Conor McGregor reacted to Michael Chandler's recent posts on X. Chandler wrote, "Can't wait to bounce your champ head off the canvas. At the Notorious MMA. Get your shit together so I can." Conor responded, posting this video. Michael Bisping and Anthony Smith debate what the UFC should do with Tony Ferguson at this point. After Tony's recent half-retirement, Smith actually thinks the UFC should give him another fight just because the UFC is the quote-unquote safest place for him. Bisping disagrees and thinks 8 losses is just way too much.
I've always admired this about him. He does it his own way, and he's going to do exactly what he wants to do. So if he wants to continue to fight, they got to release him or give him another one. I hope if he decides to fight and not retire, I hope that they keep him in the UFC because I think that's the safest place for him.
Yeah, but I mean, the only way to do that is by giving him another fight.
That's what I mean. I would rather him fight in the UFC than outside of it.
Yeah, but you can't just keep giving somebody fights because you don't want them to go fight somewhere else. You know, and by the way, you got all right. What? So 13 losses in a row, 14 losses in a row. You know, you got to say,
like certain
quite
special circumstances for special guys. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, and the special. By the way, I'm not being mean to Tony.
No, I know. I mean, it's
8
a fair
is a special. 8 is a special circumstance. It really is. Back in the day,
I mean,
losses.
4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were special.
4 was special. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
8 losses in a row. That's more than the average career in the UFC.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Tony gets paid decent money, so there's that to consider as well.
Does okay.
Despite the two frequently going back and forth on X, Darren Till says he actually loves Belal Muhammad. Earlier this month, Darren wrote, "I've gave Belal a lot of shit over the years, and he's known it's all fun and games. But mad respect that you got that belt, champ. Congrats and keep going." Belal replied saying, "Thanks, bro, let's be friends." In a recent interview with Title Sports Network, Darren gave his take on Belal winning the belt. He said, "I think it's good and bad. I think sometimes them guys are just them guys, aren't they? Like Paddy Pimblett is that guy. I was that guy. Conor McGregor and Israel Adesanya and stuff like that. I love Belal. He knows I do. I've beefed him a lot on Twitter. If I was Dana White, he probably wouldn't be the champion I'd want, but you know what? He stayed true to himself. He's carrying a big weight on his shoulders now with the belt, and obviously he's a good guy, so I'm not hating, but he's probably not the most exciting champion that you'd want." Robert Whittaker gives his prediction for Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Ilia versus Max goes down at UFC 308 on October 26th. Rob fights Khamzat Chimaev on the co-main event.
You know why I think a lot of people are leaning towards Holloway is because, honest to God, Holloway's only obstacle in his entire career has been Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only blemish, like, more or less, on his career in like the last decade. And every fight before and after really hasn't been that close. It's been kind of like a one-sided affair.
Yeah.
So I think just because of tenure and because of just the way he operates, and it's not to say like before Volk he was good. After Volk he's better, I feel. And I would have to say I'm leaning towards Holloway.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like, I want to see Topuria run his story. You know, like I like seeing his skill level is so high.
Yeah.
I think it's super underrated. super underrated right now. Maybe it's just because of exposure and because he hasn't been in as many headlines as Holloway has, because he hasn't, done the work on paper just yet. But yeah, I would have, gun to my head, have to lean towards Holloway, but wait and see. Like, for whatever reason, Volk was the kryptonite to Holloway.
Yeah.
But Holloway is the kryptonite to just about everybody else.
Yeah.
So, and then Topuria beat Volk. So, yeah, how does this work out? I don't know.
Daniel Cormier warned Belal Muhammad in regards to his recent back and forth with Kamaru Usman. DC tells Belal to be careful what he wishes for, because the UFC may actually book the fight, despite Kamaru coming off of 3 straight losses.
Now, this is one of those situations, though, where Belal Muhammad is doing exactly what you expect from new champions, but you gotta be careful unless that's exactly what you want. Either he wants to fight Kamaru Usman or he's just chirping. Because by doing what he's doing right now, he may have to fight Kamaru Usman. Because when you bring a champion back into play, who at this point isn't really in contention because of the fights with Leon and because of the fight against Khamzat, you bring him back into play, and then the powers that be start going, well, he did go up to 185 on 10 days notice to save a card and fought the guy that's in the #1 contenders match, very close. And if it was a 5-round fight, many believe he was going to win. Maybe he does deserve a chance to fight this guy. I mean, there's stuff there. It's not rocket science. When you bring a man's name into play like that, especially a man that carries a lot of reputation, that has cachet, a man that gets people to show up to the arena, you gotta be careful, because if that's not what you really want, you may end up getting that fight. You always gotta have the established star. And guess who that established star is? Kamaru Usman. So while they're going back and forth and the chirping's fun because we all love that, we gotta know that that's something that we might be able to tap into, because reality is this: it might actually happen anytime there's bad blood. The wins and the losses don't matter as much when there's bad blood. The story is what brings people in.
Joe Rogan has responded to Donald Trump. A few days ago, Trump had words for Joe via Truth Social. It started with a clip going around of Joe quote-unquote endorsing Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Joe clarified on X. He wrote, "For the record, this isn't an endorsement. This is me saying that I like RFK Jr. as a person, and I really appreciate the way he discusses things with civility and intelligence. I think we could use more of that in this world. I also think Trump raising his fist and saying fight after getting shot is one of the most American things of all time. I'm not the guy to get political information from. If you want that from a comic, go to Comic Dave Smith. He actually knows what he's talking about." Trump then posted this on Truth Social a few hours later. He wrote, "It will be interesting to see how loudly Joe Rogan gets booed the next time he enters the UFC ring." Joe posted this to his Instagram last night. It's him and Shane Gillis dressed as Trump. He wrote, "Ran into Trump. Everything is cool." Khamzat Chimaev hits a fan with a body shot.
100%.
We have a major update on the Alex Behade accusations. Alex was accused of by a 21-year-old girl named Meredith on TikTok earlier this week. She claimed that her and her friend Jesse met up with Alex and his translator Mel during UFC 302 fight week, and she was assaulted by Alex at a hotel.
And pushed him off, and he's screaming in another language. Me and my friend are looking at each other, hiding under the blankets, like about to start bawling our eyes out.
So this clip is now going around social media today. Allegedly, this is Meredith's friend Jesse, who was the one that was allegedly texting Alex's translator Mel. If you missed our 2 previous videos on this story, we go through all of those texts. This clip was taken from her Instagram Live. Jesse says that she was never assaulted and says that she's even still friends with Alex's translator Mel.
I was no way essayed at all, and me and the other guy are just friends, and nothing about that has changed or will change. I want that to be known. I didn't do anything with anyone that night, and I will never have OnlyFans.
This photo is also now making the rounds on social media, which shows what appears to be Jesse, Mel, and Alex sitting together at the gym. It's labeled UFC 302. At the time of this video, Alex has yet to comment on this situation whatsoever. The only comment from Alex or his team was his translator Mel posting the "Why the F You Lying" parody song to his Instagram story. However, now there's speculation that Alex may be taking legal action. Jessie first deleted every single one of her Instagram posts. Then she just ended up deactivating her Instagram altogether. On top of that, Alex's translator Mel has also deactivated his Instagram. There's speculation that there's a possible gag order in place, so the case may not be discussed in public. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. These comments are in reference to Chito Vera saying that he took the fight against Deiveson Figueiredo too soon after his fight with Sean O'Malley, and saying that the ref should have taken a point from Deiveson in the first round for an illegal strike. The first one says Chito is cooked, dude. The second one's from Goat Dub, says Chito acting like that 1 point would have won him the fight. And the final one's from Transcend 10, says Chito versus O'Malley was not a war, it was a masterclass beating. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.